are, and the circle is spinning. There we go. And we are live now on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. And in just a few seconds, we'll be live, of course, on Facebook Live. So there you are, ladies and gentlemen. 3 ways to access the entertainment today on Facebook Live. Tony Vicich on my page, on YouTube channel Comedy Schools, and on ComedySchoolsRadioNetwork.com. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. This is the first holiday of any, or commemorative day of any size or import, I believe, since this crisis began. And I hope that in a safe and sane way that you were able to connect with your loved ones and especially your mother. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, and happy life to each and every one of us. It is Sunday afternoon. This is your daily diversion, your daily distraction from all the weirdness, anxiety, and hoopla going on in the world today. It's not just happening to me. It's not just happening to you. It's not just happening to the city you're in or the state you're in or even the country you're in. This is a worldwide situation. And hopefully, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully that we are all participating in finding ways to be able to deal with it effectively. A couple things that they tell us we can do to deal with it effectively is keep ourselves socially distant as much as possible. Don't run around coughing on people. All right. Don't be hanging out with people coughing. All right. And I think kindness should be the watchword. Kindness and decency. So when you're out in the world, ladies and gentlemen, let's be kind and decent to everyone. Okay. Sometimes that can be a little hard, and I'm going to tell you why. Because you may be going out there going, I'm going to be kind and decent today. And you may experience a lot of people who don't seem to be sharing your philosophy. And that's when your philosophy is put to the test. Okay. That is when you take a breath. That is when you smile. That is when you move forward with whatever your plan was at the moment. So it's Mother's Day. My brother Jerry and his, I'm going to say it now, fiance are now watching. Okay. They are now watching, along with a lot of other good friends too. Trey Goodman and Andrew Freeman, new friends, old friends, Charles Kaminsky, Tim Slagle. I see your names pop up there. That's why I mentioned them. There's other people watching whose names don't pop up. But my brother Jerry and his fiance Lily are watching, and I'm going to announce here now, unless one of them stop me. Okay, I'm going to announce right here now that going once, Jerry, going twice, going 3 times. My brother Jerry has proposed to the lovely and gorgeous Lily, and though they don't have the only reason they don't have a wedding date set yet, they're waiting to see if it will have to be a socially distant wedding, or they'll be able to invite friends and family. But congratulations.
Yay.
Yay. And that is our producer, who just happens to be my wife, Shirley Lovisic. And you two, we could not be happier for you. We could not be happier for you. Okay. And I look forward very much so, to the day when I'll be able to see both of you in person and give you big old hugs. All right. And I'm hoping that that day comes soon. I don't know if you've been out in the world much. Shirley and I, we're really careful when we go out, but we go out more than once a week. And I don't mean go out to the bar. We don't mean go out dancing. I mean, we find that there are reasons that we must venture out into the world, whether it's a banking situation or an insurance situation, or even a food or a home repair situation. And when we go out, we are wearing face masks and we are wearing gloves. I know this. I know that the face mask primarily is for others, so that if I cough, that my cough doesn't get on them. And I noticed that a lot of people aren't, and I don't know if people are really getting that concept. You know, hold on. Every once in a while, you see my hand go up there like that. I'm just swiping away notifications. I don't think people are really getting that concept. The mask isn't necessarily going to protect you. It can protect you a little bit. It can protect you some, and some is better than none. But its primary purpose is to protect others from you. So we wear our masks when we go out. We wear our gloves. It reduces our anxiety, and we want to participate in helping to bring down the R naught. And if you don't know what the R naught is, I didn't know what it was either, but it is the rate of infection. Originally, this thing had a rate of infection of 2.5, meaning that for every person who had it that was going out in the public, they were infecting 2.5 other people. Who the half was, I don't know, a short person. I don't know how this works. And then each one of them were infecting 2.5 people. And we want to get that R naught down well below 1. Okay, and that's what we're working on. What we're working on today, right now, just having some fun, saying Happy Mother's Day. If you've watched this show before, then you know that it's built around 3 things: interaction with you, where if you want to post a question or a comment here on Facebook Live, or on YouTube on the Comedy Schools channel, or on ComedySchoolsRadioNetwork.com, where you could be listening. And Shirley is manning that station right there. Well, she's womaning it. She's a woman. She wouldn't be manning it. Would you say womaning it? I don't know. She's watching it. She's keeping an eye on it, okay? And if you have a question or comment there, she will relay it to me. So it's built around that. It's also built around me showing you some knickknack or trivia or autographed memorabilia that I have here in my home, and recommending 2 pieces of music from my vast vinyl collection. Legally, license-wise, I can't play music, and if I play music, it would just be a radio show. So I recommend, I've dug through my vast vinyl collection, and I recommend 2 pieces of music, some of which you may be familiar with from the past, but forgotten how much you enjoyed it. Some you may have never heard before, and now you get to experience something old made new for you. All right, so as far as the memorabilia goes, I'm going to show you something here that's near and dear to my heart, especially because it's Mother's Day. Here we go. Take a look at that. There we have it. Got a good look at it. And for my YouTube friends, there we have it. What is that? That is a picture of my father, my mother, and me. My father, my mother, and me. I don't know that it was taken on Mother's Day. I know that it was taken sometime after August 13th, 1955, because that's when I was born. And you can see that my dad is quite happy. See that smile? Okay. And you see that my mom is quite serious, because she's the one who has to hold the package. Okay. She's the one who has to hold the package being me. So this was taken in Old North St. Louis, where I was raised till I was 10 years old, in the inner city. My mother and father in this were probably 16 and 18 years old. Thereabouts, or 17 and 18 years old. My mother had me when she was 16. My father turned 18 1 week after. There they are, just a teenage husband and wife with a little baby in the late 50s. And if you want to talk about times of anxiety, fraught, and woe and concern, try being a teenager in the late 50s with a baby. The old man does have a beer in his hand. I didn't know. And it is, oh, Jesus, it looks like a Falstaff, which was a pretty inexpensive beer. The big beer that was drank in St. Louis in those times by working class people was Falstaff and Busch. The Busch Brewery, its flagship beer was Budweiser, but its cheaper beer, for some reason, their cheaper beer, they put their own name on, Busch. And we used to joke about it when you pop the top, but in those days still used a church key, where you actually had to open them up with a little implement and to make that Busch, Busch. We said that's why they named it Busch. They lived hand to mouth in a working class neighborhood where jobs were scarce, times were difficult, and they made it through. And they stayed married from the mid 1950s. I think what happened was my dad. The story is, I'll tell you the story. The story is my dad, who was kind of a rounder and a rambler. Some would say a juvenile delinquent. Some would say like a 1950s, like, hey man, what are you doing in this alley, man? You got a wallet? That he was headed for a life of being a ne'er-do-well, but then he met my mother. The story is that he went home after seeing my mother, but not speaking to her, at a place called the Highway Show off of 19th and Montgomery in Old North St. Louis, and told his mom, I just saw the girl I'm going to marry. His mom said, what's her name? He goes, I don't know. I haven't talked to her, but that's who I'm going to marry. And then one day he was walking through an alley in nearby, and my mom could do that whistle where you put 2 fingers in your teeth and blow like that, and blew, and he turned around and she went, hey, boy. So they were both immediately attracted to one another. They were both Catholic, and she was a good Catholic girl. And there'd be no hugging and no kissing until she got a wedding ring. And in the state of Illinois, right across the river from St. Louis, Missouri, you could get married at the age they were without parental consent. And my dad took her to Illinois and married her. I was born just a little over 9 months after that. And that's their story, and they're sticking to it. So they got married in 1954. I was born in 1955, and they stayed married all the way up until my father went on to his reward in the year 2000. They raised 2 other boys. One of them is watching right now, my brother Jerry, and of course my brother John. They went from living in downstairs basement apartments in a musty old working class neighborhood, dying neighborhood in St. Louis, all the way to owning 20 to 30 acres of property out in House Springs, Missouri, and being quite well off. So why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because it's Mother's Day, and my mom is not here. She's in heaven. That's what I believe. I believe there's a heaven. I don't believe there's a hell. Okay, that makes no sense. Okay, I don't know if you get into heaven right away if you're kind of a douchebag here, but I don't see anything you could do here that would be equate to an all eternity thing. It's not what the show is about, but I'm just telling you but she knows, and every day I'm appreciative and grateful to her and my dad for all that they did. As young people, we oftentimes are angry with our parents for things they did. But as time goes by, and as you, and some of you are aware of this, as time goes by and you have your own stumbles and falls and scrapes with life, and you reflect back on them, you go, oh, I kind of get it now. Seeing my own flaws lets me much more understand what may have been their flaws as well. So I'm grateful to them. I'm grateful for the life that they gave me. I'm grateful for them raising me in North St. Louis and the richness of that inner city, and then moving us out to House Springs, Missouri, and the wonders of that great rural landscape, and it being there for me all the way till both of them, till my father went on, and then my mother eventually went on to meet him, which after he left is all she really wanted to do. And now they're together. Okay. And so happy Mother's Day, Mom. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there who are with us now, are waiting for us later. Okay. That was our little piece of trivia. A picture of me from 1956. I don't know how old I am there. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But boy, wasn't she pretty. Look at that. Weren't they a good-looking couple of kids? Gosh darn it. They were a couple of good-looking kids. They used to say he looked like the actor John Derek. John Derek later on married Bo Derek. It's not that they both had, it wasn't like, hi, I'm John Derek, I'm Bo Derek. Hey, weird, we both got the same last name. Her name was Bo something else. He married her, she became Bo Derek. I think her name was Bo Svensson. No, that was a Swedish actor who started a bad version of Walking Tall Part 2. That's our trivia for the day, commemorating Mother's Day. Now, let's get to this list, okay? A list of our coolest people ever. Here's who's now permanently on the list, and it's up to 9. And here they are, going from 9 to 1. Number 9, Billie Holiday. Miss Lady sings the blues herself. She was a cool chick. She was a jazz singer. She epitomed cool in all of her demeanor, in all the adversity she faced. She still could get behind that microphone, and with that smoky, sultry voice that had that stunning timing, you're going, how did you know to come in on that note? The epitome of a cool jazz singer, Miss Billie Holiday. That's number 9. Number 8, Jack Nicholson, the man with the killer smile. Jack Nicholson, the man with the killer smile, the man who will forever be remembered for great movies like The Shining, but I believe that his apex was Chinatown, where he starred as J.J. Gittes in a 1970s homage to 1940s film noir films. The cool thing about Chinatown, that John Huston was in Chinatown, the great director John Huston, who directed Humphrey Bogart in The Maltese Falcon, one of the classic, but not the best film noir movie ever made. Then, of course, at number 7 is Humphrey Bogart himself. Humphrey Bogart, Casablanca. Casablanca alone puts him on the list. Alone. One scene, just the white tux, the way he walked through his casino, puts him there. Number 6, Prince. Prince, an ungodly talented human being. Steve McQueen, Mr. Cool himself, Steve McQueen. If you don't believe he's cool, watch Bullet. Bullet. Okay, then Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra, if you got a cool list and you don't put Frank Sinatra on it, then there's something wrong with you. All right. Number 3, James Dean. Once again, one of the coolest people in the universe, a man who created the archetype that almost all American leading men still try to aspire to. James Dean. Number 2, who I believe is currently the coolest man alive, Mr. Keith Richards. All I ever did was just call me Buddy Holly. Did you ever notice when Keith Richards has a cigarette in his mouth and never quite makes it to his mouth? It's like, here, this is going to be a cigarette, okay? It's a pen. Like, so when we were kids, we were poor, but we listened to some Buddy Holly records. And then, of course, that's how I learned how to play the guitar. He is number 2. Number 1 on our list of coolest people, the guy who created perhaps the concept of cool with the album Birth of the Cool, because he created a new kind of music called cool jazz, Miles Davis. So those are our 9. We are looking for a final one. Abhinav Goyal asks, what's the best film noir movie of all time? I would tell anybody who is going to start out and didn't know film noir, start with the Maltese Falcon. Start with the Maltese Falcon. And then we go from there, okay? You could also go to Farewell, My Lovely, and then, in both Bogart films. Wait a minute, no, it's not called Farewell, My Lovely, the Bogart one. It's called so. Anyway, just start with the Maltese Falcon, and then jump all the way to 1974 to Chinatown, and you'll kind of get what I'm talking about. These great detective film noir stories that seem to be able to catch the story that's not out in the bright light, but in the dark shadows. Okay. All right, so we got one more to go. And here's who's on the list. Okay, and the list has gotten kind of unwieldy here because then all of a sudden I was put in charge of writing it down because I grabbed the paper. Kurt Cobain's on the list. Denzel Washington's on the list. Katharine Hepburn's on the list. Little Richard's on the list. Bob Dylan, Lenny Bruce. Let's see, Chuck Norris, Samuel Jackson, Bruce Lee, President John Kennedy, Richard Pryor, Buddy Rich. Did I say Lauren Bacall already? My brother and I, someone put Jerry and I on the list. Tina Turner, Muhammad Ali, Charles Bronson, Sean Connery, and Dean Martin. Now you can vote for any one of those. Right now, Dean Martin has the most votes. Falling right behind him in votes, by the way, is Denzel Washington. So, and I don't know if we're gonna settle this today. Now, what's going to happen is once we, the regular patrons of Living on a Thin Line, have compiled and finished this list, I'm going to put it up on social media and then let all the trollsters argue about whether we were right or wrong. Lily says number 10 has to be a woman. Yes, I would. It could be. There is a woman on the list. Billie Holiday is a woman. She was a female jazz singer. And I'm not going to argue with the logic of that number 10 has to be a woman. Here are the women who are on the list. Remember, we're going for cool, not just who we like. I like John Wayne movies, but John Wayne wasn't cool. If Miles Davis is number 1, where does John Wayne fall on the list of cool? Probably like 98 or something. I don't know, but I mean, great Western actor. You know, my all-time. I raised my daughter on John Wayne movies, and now my little granddaughter Selma calls me one day by video call and goes, "Oh, and Grandpa, I have been watching Westerns," and telling me about it, and I'm recommending Westerns to her, and we are going to get her to watch True Grit, the John Wayne version of True Grit, and The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. That was my daughter's suggestion was True Grit. Mine was the Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. My daughter Alicia talking to Amy's daughter Selma. So, but I still don't think that John Wayne's cool. Okay, it doesn't belong on the cool list. Belongs on a great movie star list, one of the greatest movie stars of all time. Anyway, number 10 could be a woman. Here's the women that we have so far. Is Little Richard? No, that's not right. He's not. Okay, Katharine Hepburn, Tina Turner. We already put Billie Holiday on. Lauren Bacall. What do you guys think of that? Jerry saying Lauren Bacall. So that's 2 for Lauren Bacall. Like I said, I don't know that we'll settle this today because we still got Dean Martin with 4. 2 for Lauren Bacall. Lauren Mahler said The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. Yeah, Yeah, we recommended that movie. And my daughter Alicia, when she was little, we used to watch it, and I would take her out playing putt golf, and she would talk to me about that movie. Hey, Dad, what do you think about this? Hey, Dad, what do you think about that? It was not only was a wonderful time in my life, but it's a time that I can look back on and with joy and pride, and not with any sort of sorrow that it's gone, because all moments leave. All moments leave. So we savor them as they come, and we live them as they come and savor them as they go. Lauren McCall now has 2 votes. That would be interesting for a variety of reasons. All right, let me see, make sure I've got Katharine Hepburn, Lauren Bacall, Tina Turner. Yeah, I don't. Was there any other one? Okay, all right. So that's where we are. Now we got 3 for Lauren Bacall. 3 for Lauren Bacall. So Jerry, my brother Jerry and Lily have both voted Lauren Bacall. So now you know, Jerry, that you're going to have to watch The Big Sleep, okay, with Lily, and you're going to have to watch The Have and Had Not, and I believe Key Largo, okay, with Lily, because those are Bogart Bacall pictures. You're going to have to look at those. Like I said, I don't know if we'll settle this today. Lily says Monica Bellucci, and I don't know who that is, but we'll find out. All right, let's move on to the music we're going to recommend today. Okay, so I'm going to go kind of wild here. Here's something. Bam. All right, this album we're recommending. It's going to be hard for you to see. All right, it's hard for you to see. All right, on YouTube you can see that it's a cartoon kind of a drawing of a thin man with a cowboy hat and guitar. I don't know how well you guys can see it there because of the light shining. This album is a rare album, man. It is called The Spirit of Hank Williams. Okay. And this album, okay, is a compilation of his stuff that isn't always the very top big hits that he made, but a lot of really great, beautiful songs. And they are Window Shopping, Wearing Out Your Walking Shoes, Teardrop on a Rose, Lost on the River, Jesus Died for Me, A Home in Heaven, Fool About You, The Pale Horse and His Rider, If You'll Be My Baby, If You'll Be a Baby to Me, Mother Is Gone, Dear Brother, When You're Tired of Breaking Hearts. And let me recommend 2 songs off of this album of not the massive classic hits that hundreds played afterwards. Window Shopping, okay? Well, Window Shopping is definitely one, and Lost on the River. So if you like Hank Williams and you're not familiar with the songs Window Shopping and Lost on the River, please give those a listen. This is a rare offbeat album of Hank Williams songs that were not top 10 hits, or if they were, they didn't stick around very long. I don't know where I got it, but I got a pre-owned vinyl for $4.99, and it's a pretty fucking cool album. By the way, you can never go wrong sitting back and listening to Hank Williams, whether you like rap or jazz or country. People ask me, they go, how can you like Miles Davis and Hank Williams? I go, I'll tell you why, because they both tapped into that other thing. That's something. They both tapped into the human soul. They both did it. They're both authentic. They're both real. And their music is always striving and trying. So we're talking Hank Williams. Now, the other one, of course, we're going to recommend, because it's Sunday. Okay? Because it's Sunday. Jerry just asked, do I still have Aphrodite's Child 666? No. And I'm going to tell you what happened. Okay? Over the years, that album, which I played some songs for Shirley from that album just a few weeks ago. I said, this is some weird stuff I used to listen to when I was a teenager that hardly anybody knows, was stolen out of back of Peggy Cochran's classroom when I was a junior in high school. So we had some marvelous teachers in high school when I was going to Lon Simmons and Peggy Cochran being the 2 most marvelous while we were in high school. And Peggy would let us bring records in and play them and discuss the records and the meaning of the records. Jesus Christ Superstar had come out, I think, the year before, and there was a lot of controversy about the characterization of Jesus Christ in there. So it led to some really vibrant, wonderful, not arguments, but conversations in her class. And then she let us bring in other music. And I brought in Aphrodite's Child, the Aphrodite's Child album, and someone stole it. Okay, and I still remember that. Of all the albums I've owned, of ones I've lost, probably left somewhere, don't even realize I had, or even as I go through this vinyl collection, go, wow, I didn't even know I had this record. That one I remember because that is a hell of an album. And if you want to listen to that, just you can YouTube Aphrodite's Child and find their music. But going with a more traditional recommendation today, and also because it's such a cool album cover. Ladies and gentlemen, if it's Sunday, there he is, the chairman of the board himself, Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra. So, and that is a classic late 50s, early 60s Frank Sinatra album cover. It's just him all dapper with that look on his face and that figure going, come with me. We're going to get in trouble. Frank Sinatra got more people. Frank Sinatra was the Keith Richards of his time. People can't keep up with Keith. People could not keep up with Frank. The man had a wooden leg and an insatiable appetite for the ladies. What's funny is Keith is not that. Keith is like, well, you know, I like birds, but they're always around, but I like love. You know, he's been married forever. On this album, and this is a remaster, so it sounds stunning. You can play these remasters on like a crappy little turntable, and they still sound tons better. It's from the Capitol Vaults, 180 gram vinyl, audiophile quality, faithfully restored, limited edition, Capitol stereo with full spectra. Frank Sinatra, Come Dance With Me, with Billy May and his orchestra. Great tunes on here. Come Dance With Me is killer. Something's Got to Give. He did so many great standards. Something's got to give. Something's got to give. Just in Time. Just in Time. I found you just in time. Dancing in the Dark. A lot of you think that Bruce Springsteen coined that phrase, dancing in the dark. No, it's from a song way back when. Too Close for Comfort. Great fun song. Great jazz tune. I could have danced all night. Early 20th century tune. 1920s or 30s that Frank did. And Saturday Night, which is Saturday night is the loneliest night of the week. So, and other great tunes. You can't go wrong kicking back on a Sunday to a little Frank Sinatra. Okay. That's kind of our show for the day. Couple things to tell you about, and this is kind of important to me, so listen carefully. Tonight at 7 p.m. on Zoom, it's Tony Vicich Presents Sunday Night's Funnier. It's the Mother Day edition with my favorite female comic, Diane Miner. She's a mother and she's funny. She's a mother also of a very funny guy, Travis Miner, who will be making a guest appearance along with Manny the Soccer Dad and Mr. Marriage himself, Joe Gannon, and yours truly. I'm going to post the link right above this show on my Facebook page right after we end. Buy a ticket, support these comics, okay? The money goes to the comics and to local food banks in my neighborhood. Okay, that's where the majority of the money goes to. It's a great way to support it. This is the new movement in entertainment, despite what some crabby old bastards might complain about, and it's kind of sad to see that. The new movement in entertainment is going to be the type of technology where I can put on a show with comics all over the world, and they're on one stage, and that stage is your telephone, your computer, your television. And we're going to bring it to you tonight, 7 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. Tony Vicich Presents Sunday Night's Funnier. Also, have you ever thought about doing stand-up comedy? And what else are you doing right now? Learn something new. Learn a new language. Learn how to play guitar. Learn how to write. And we can help you with that a lot. We can teach you simple ways to do short-form writing so it doesn't eat up your entire day. Go to comedyschools.com in order to get that information to get signed up for our new workshops coming up at the end of May. Man, I can't believe the half hour already shot by. I love you all very much. Congratulations to Jerry and Lily on their upcoming nuptials. All right, check out Hank Williams. Check out Frank Sinatra. Happy Mother's Day to my mom in heaven. Okay, and we got one more to go on our list. One more to go on our list. We're going to settle it this week and then get it posted. Coolest people ever. And you know what? You guys are the coolest people ever for watching this. All right, we got to go. Thank you very much for my wife and producer, Shirley Lowe Vicich. I want to thank you. We'll see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. Living on a Thin Line. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, YouTubers.